सत्य नाट्य वाद्य का तू केंद्र बिंदु है Fan and power from within and that's you there to say
Namaste and a very warm welcome one more time to this beautiful interaction planned with the SABERA Awardees, simply with me, simply with Suparna. And as is customary, I'd like to start by paying an obeisance to the higher power. For me, Shakti has held me in good stead, whatever the higher power that you believe in. And even if you're an atheist, we welcome you. And I'm going to be reciting a very old Sanskrit verse which essentially talks about dispelling the darkness of ignorance that resides in our hearts through the light of wisdom and knowledge. Ya kundendu tusharahara dhavala, ya shubhra vastravrita, ya veena varadanda manditakara, ya shweta padamasana, ya brahmachutta shankar prabhutibhi, devai sada vandita, samam patu saraswati, bhagavati nishesh, jadyapaha. So, as you must be aware, we started this interaction with people who are doing good. It is in alignment with what we do with SABERA as well, in acknowledging individuals, organizations, large multinational corporations, PSUs, non-profits, social sectors who are actually contributing towards the development of our beautiful country. And we've acknowledged some amazing stories, and through these LinkedIn Live sessions, we bring those stories across to you, the individuals behind those organizations, what their triggers have been, what their passions are, what keeps them driving to do good. And today as well, I have a very special guest here with me. I'm going to get him onto the screen along with his beautiful daughter, Parag Ghosh and Prakriti Ghosh. Thank you so much for taking the time for doing this for us. Of course, Parag Ghosh, along with his wife, Richa Ghosh, co-founded Auspice Social, which is now Auspice Condiments Private Limited. They have been a SABERA Awardee in the enablement subcategory in the year 2021. Auspice Social provides hands-on training and skill development to adults with autism. It's one of the few enterprises where the cause itself is the mission. They produce 75 varieties of naturally dried culinary herbs, spices, and seasonings. And the training program for adults with autism ranges from 3 weeks to 6 months, depending on individual needs, and culminates with employment at Auspice Social, which is now, of course, Auspice Condiments Private Limited. Thank you so much, Parag, and thank you so much, Prakriti, for taking the time for this interaction.
Yeah, thank you for having us here today.
First things first, Parag. How is it that you guys? I know from our interaction previously, both you and Richa are computer engineers. You're trained computer engineers. So how is it that something which is completely different from your training, kind of took form, took shape? How did Auspice Social first and now Auspice Condiments come into being?
Life has unexpected turns for you, and one such thing happened to us. In 2007, when Prakriti was born, uh, she was diagnosed as autistic in a year and a half. So, but we did not know what autism was, and I had no clue. But as she kept growing up, our understanding increased, our interaction with other people increased, and that's the time when we were thinking that let's do something about people who are autistic. And we did not have any technical know how or scientific background in this area. So we decided that let's do something that does employment generation skills or employment generation activities for autistic people. So that's when we did some experiments with them. What are the things that they can do? So after first few, not a good success rate, then we came onto this spice processing, and this they somehow found very interesting, and they were happy that they are getting this opportunity.
Okay.
Nobody thought about money at that time, but the fact that they are able to do it and they are happy doing it was a very big achievement for every one of us, for them, for me, for everyone. So that is the birth of Auspice. And today, as you mentioned, Auspice is a private limited company by name Auspice Condiments. We are a Startup India certified company with MSME registration and a lot of other things. And people are now recognizing this idea, even though we don't talk much about it. So I think a lot of good things are beginning to happen.
Yeah, you mentioned that not many people know about it, as you were also not aware of what autism entails. And, for me, when I interact with Prakriti, she's such a bright young student. Prakriti, you're in 11th standard, right?
Yes, that's right.
And what are the subjects that you have taken?
I taken commerce, which means English, accountancy, business studies, and along with these subjects, I have economics and applied maths.
Wow, maths is something that, you know what, Prakriti, I'm sharing this with you. Maths is something that it just went above my head. I had no clue how to handle all the math problems. So, hats off to you for having taken up maths and accountancy, and your proficiency obviously speaks about that. And what is it that you want to do ahead?
I think I told you that I actually have a hard time deciding that, but I'd finalized two options as of now. Either finance, either career in finance and accounting, or I will go in for the National Institute of Design.
Yes, indeed, you did tell me about this, the National Institute of Design. And so we'll ask your dad, is Prakriti creative?
Oh, very! You should see some of our paintings. When we have an opportunity, or maybe you can schedule a discussion with her one on one. She just to to see how autistic people really feel about.
No, you tell me that there is something called autistic, but when I speak to Prakriti, I have no clue. It doesn't reflect. I mean, she's just like any other young girl at, probably how old are you? 15, 16 years old, 17 years old?
16.
Yeah, 16 years
I
old.
think I think you touched upon a very important thing. We kind of we are unsure, and we are unsure about what it is and how it impacts us. So you will see many people who are not diagnosed but will be able to lead normal lives without you or I being able to recognize that they are such. And with Prakriti also, we have never uh, forced her to do something and forced her not to do something. Let her make her decisions as to what she wants to do, and that is, I think, very important thing. And it is this learning that we had want to bring into Auspice. So when a person comes in, you know, they have to undergo a training first. The training does not have a fixed time. So between 3 weeks and 6 months, depending on your pace of learning. So for say we do 75 different kinds of varieties. So for you, if your learning is quicker, you can graduate in 3 weeks and become an employee, or you can take a longer time. So that doesn't matter to us whether it's 3 months, 3 weeks, or 6 months. What matters to us is that you are able to do it eventually. And once you are able to do it, you can come back to the workplace every day happy and do the same thing. And we also would like to give some opportunity for growth in future. So we are just working on those things as well.
So, what I'm hearing from you, Paragji, is the fact that autism is not something that can readily be diagnosed, or is something that can be in alignment with, because like Prakriti is going to school, she's going to DPS, you said, right? And she's in class 11, she's a bright student, she's pursuing finance, and maybe wants to be a designer moving forward. So, is it that a lot of times it can also go undiagnosed, and that is the reason why there is also no census, as you were telling me about it?
Yeah, autism was recognized as a disability in India as late as 2016. So it's hardly a decade. So we have not made a lot of progress like countries like US or UK or Australia and some few others have done. US actually they publish the data every 2 years as to what is the spread of this. So when they did that for the first time in year 2000, it was 1 in 200 children. And today, in 2020, the latest data that is available is 1 in 46 or 49. So, is it the incidence that is growing? I don't know. But more and more people are being diagnosed, which could mean most likely that more and more people are becoming aware. So, in India, the first thing is this: our awareness has to grow as to what is it and what are people with autism, what is their difficulty, and how can we make their lives any easier. So
Right, right.
maybe
Very important. Yeah.
yeah, so typically what we hear, autism बच्चों को होता है. Yes, one is born autistic. You can't just catch autism midway, and it slowly manifests itself. So it's not on one fine day. It's like fever, and you can measure and you can diagnose. So it's a long process. But once diagnosed, what are the options that we have? How many people, how many doctors, or how many therapists are there? And so what are the options? But after childhood, a autistic person definitely grows up into his teenagers and past the teenagers. That is the area where I thought it is absolutely lacking, not only in India but also in other countries. There was a report which was tabled in the British Parliament, and they said 86% of autistic adults never had a job. They are unemployed. Now, 86% unemployment is a big number. So, what we do, just like the training, after training, they become full time employees. They get paid on equal work for equal pay basis as defined in the UN Convention. Um, and that is what we want to do. We want to grow this company. We want to create more employment opportunities. We want this to be a very happy workplace, so that all the employees, they look forward to the morning that I have to go to work, and in the evening they feel satisfied with the work and with the day that passed through today.
I think you made a very pertinent point about the fact that, first, of course, till 2016, autism wasn't even recognized. It is recognized, it's been less than 10 years. And the second thing is that everyone especially with respect to Auspice Social. Um, is an employee is a stakeholder in the organization and gets paid in accordance, right? But do you have to, face some challenges, so to speak, when you're working with autistic people and ensure that the work environment is conducive to them?
Not only autistic people, I think every employee in any company, they want a happy workplace, a good positive vibes and positive environment. It is not very easy to create that, but that is an absolute necessity for someone with autism or with other kind of difficulties to be made welcome to come to workplace every day. So that is very important for me personally. It was very, very important. Not force you to work, but you work out of your own will because you like what you're doing. So that is what we try to do.
Yes, so
And
let me get Prakriti in here now. Prakriti, have you been to the place where Auspice works, where the factory is, where the spices are being graded and washed and packed?
You're asking whether I've seen the autistic employees at work.
Yes, and is it a happy place?
In all truth, I haven't even seen them work yet. Only I think a photograph. I've only seen photographs.
yeah, but being a happy workplace and being part of a happy workforce is very, very important. And
Yeah,
for Prakriti also, I like to make Auspice something that she likes to join, even
yeah.
though
We're hoping
her
that also because right now she wants to join NID and she doesn't want to join Auspice
it's up
because
to, it's up to you. For every child to decide what they want to become.
yes,
You know,
yes,
uh,
yes.
we're also doing it not to make you a spice artist, uh, but for everyone to feel that being autistic is not the end of life, is beginning of an opportunity. It may be a difficult life, but definitely one that has the potential to be a happy life.
So, what are
So,
the challenges that you face when employing autistic adults?
I'll give you some examples. Autistic people have different attention spans. In some, it could be 10 minutes, in some, it could be half an hour, 1 hour. So what do? You make their work schedules in a way that every 10 minutes they get a 2-minute break, or every half an hour they get a 5-minute break, or something like that. So what do they do in the breaks? They can do what they wish to do only for a certain time. Then they can go back to the workstation. Secondly, they can have sensitivity issues on texture, on smell, on color. So if somebody has an issue with, say, processing chilies or grinding them into chili powders, we don't assign him that work. We can give him something like uh, a whole spice to process with. By individualizing their work schedule and the work content, we can ensure almost at all times that there is something productive for you to do. These are kind of things that we do, and of course, based on your uh, uh, the severity or lightness of the condition, you may require different kind of help. So the plant that we are building now, you all the supervisors there, they will be fully conversant with the needs of autistic people and how they can be met at the workplace. So if they want a rest, if they want something like therapy kind of, so they will be available.
And Paragji, how was your first experience when, okay, in your mind you had thought that we will start off with Auspice, and it was a cause that you wanted to create a mission behind in terms of employability of autistic adults. Uh, and to be honest, nothing like this was done before, and also from the fact that autism itself was not recognized till 2016, like you mentioned. So, how is it that your first experience was when you got together a group of individuals? And what you shared with me earlier was very important when you said that every human being brings value, irrespective of who they are, what gender they belong to, whether they are autistic or not. They have value to add, and that is so very important. And I think also the basis of Auspice. So, but I'm sure it wasn't like that when you started out. There must have been frustrating moments. What was it the first time when you got a group of autistic adults together to start to work?
Well, it was not a frustrating moment with them because I have seen Prakriti grow, and they are also just like that, part of the family. So, not a frustrating moment, yes, but there were other challenges also. Like if you are producing something which is valuable, in our case, spices, economic value or utility value, something that you need. So I have to go and sell it in the market, right? So what
Correct.
do I say? Do I say it has been packed by somebody who's autistic, or do I say it's a great quality product, quality and at a good price? So trying to figure that out took me almost more than a year. But then we decided that the biggest asset of this product should be, actually printed on the bottle itself, and on every product that Auspice produces, it says that this has been produced by someone with autism, and if you like this, we want you to go and talk to others, your colleagues, your family, your friends, and you tell them why this is what you like. So there is, by doing this, we are kind of building up a community of, let's say, friends of Auspice. So once you are an Auspice consumer, you will be, if you like it, you will propagate it more. If you don't like it, then you won't. So it is absolutely important that this is a very high quality product.
Hmm. Hmm.
High quality product in terms of uh, the content itself, the certifications of the product itself, the kind of statutory environment. We are FSSAI certified. We are registered with the Spices Board of India and also with APIDA. These are primarily required for exports of Indian spices. We are a MSME, and so this is their whole life that we are talking about transforming, not
Hmm.
just the, but generally about everything, and
And
trying to.
this can also be a prototype for other people to emulate.
Yes,
Uh,
what we intend to do, we want to create employment for 10,000 people who are autistic. Now, uh,
and sorry to cut you in between. You do not employ anyone else except for adults with autism. Is that correct?
well, that is not entirely correct, because people who are supervisors or people who is a security guard, or there are people, but a majority of our workforce is autistic and will continue to be autistic.
Okay.
And this is something that we have in our incorporation documents. So I can't just wish away that these autistic people were not there and we had more competent or more skilled people.
Correct.
This is what we decided to do, this is what we are doing, and this is what we intend to do well.
Right. And if we were to do a kind of an analysis for the future in terms of your revenues, in terms of what the future plans with Auspice Condiments Private Limited, now that it has been incorporated, is what would that be?
Well, our first production facility is coming up, and by March it should be ready. And what we have done is set ourselves a target of 1 crore in the full year after commissioning. And by end of this decade, we should have 10,000 people uh, in employment, and two, a revenue of 800 crores
Wow.
and a profit of around 38% before taxes. But the goodness that we bring to the society, both in the our employees' life and somewhat in our consumers' life, is the main thing. That is what we strive to create as a company. So,
Super.
but you also discussed about whether we would like to collaborate. Yes, we would. We want our factories or facilities to be small scale, not more than employing 100 people at the same location. So you could see in future Auspice facility in Kerala, in Karnataka, in Kashmir, in Assam, or wherever, or even abroad. So some of these facilities would be set up by Auspice themselves, by us, using the funds that we accrue or using the funds that we can raise. Some of these would be in partnership with other like-minded people with whom this is a step up from the society that we are living in to the society that we want to create. So
Yes,
yes,
Paragji, if we talk about, I know there is also an awardee, SABERA awardee, Rachna Prasad, who has started a non-profit called Chirantana in Karnataka, where she works with children, children with, specially able children. Children could be with Down syndrome or autism and all. And she has a very radical perspective as far as inclusion which is concerned, because I think inclusion has become a big word in today's day age in society, especially with the corporates and especially with the CSR and ESG and sustainability perspective. And she says that I don't think and I don't believe in inclusion, and why is it that I need to force my child to be with people who don't even know what she is going through, or have a problem in accepting how she is. She would rather be with other children who form their friendships organically than being forced upon by institutions. What do you think about that?
I think inclusion is necessary. That is why we are trying to make our products. We are training our autistic employees to make our products, and they kind of get economically integrated in the society, uh, financially independent somewhat. We are not going to make anyone a millionaire, at least in the short run. uh, this inclusion is very, very necessary. But if you say that inclusion means that I am able to fit everywhere, that I think is a long way off and maybe or may not be needed, as long as every autistic person can carve out his own space, his own niche in the society. So, saying that one student in the whole class in a school is different means inclusion. It may be, it may not be. It depends on how well we can implement it, and if at all, if we are not able to do it at a scale, what I see that we are still a very small company, and everyone is autistic. And what I see that being together, working together, supporting each other brings out the best in them, brings out the joy in them. So there are other approaches also that need to be explored.
I want to speak to Prakriti about this in school. How is it for you? Have you faced any kind of challenges in terms of the rest of the students, accepting you for who you are?
I don't really think other students can point out any significant difference between myself and themselves, but yes, I have been teased at times, but mostly it's never they never last very long for one thing. Second, I don't approach people a lot, and often this means while other people sit in groups and gossip, either roam around and don't even bother to speak to these people. At most, I find it easier to talk to people when there's only one person in front of me. I prefer one-on-one discussions for me to put it. And what else? Sometimes I have sensory problems in school. I can't tolerate the noise they make. And I'm in commerce. We have 63 students. 63 students per class. In one class, even if even if more than 10 students get absent, there's still a lot of noise.
So, this is something you asked about what kind of help is available. So, these are things, on which help should be available at every workplace. And
Correct.
if you have, say, just khana purti kind of, so to say, that yes, we have a few autistic employees or a few employees with other kind of difficulty, it may not be possible. But in an organization like ours, that is a necessity and that is something that you should come to expect as given. That these features, these facilities are available at the workplace.
Yeah, but first I think there has to be an awareness. Like Prakriti is also saying, if there is, there is no awareness, how are we even expecting that something like an inclusion, such a large word, can be
It,
put into practice?
it will happen over a period of time. Awareness needs to grow, people needs to be more accepting, more opportunity should be there. Something like equal opportunity, is such a commonplace term these days.
Correct.
How do you ensure equal opportunity for somebody who is autistic, somebody who is unlikely to assert his rights? you know so
Correct.
the answer is simple. The society has to be more aware, more embracing of any kind of a different ability. I'm not saying
Correct.
lesser ability, higher ability. I'm saying you have a
Correct.
different ability. You are asking such nice questions and I'm only giving answers to them. So we both of us have different skills.
Correct.
So similarly, uh, a different ability is what every person brings in to the society. Whether you are making spices or you are making rockets, it doesn't matter. But whatever you are doing should find some place in the society, some use in the society. And
Sure.
that is how we all move forward together.
Correct.
And
And
if you
Prakriti,
can,
I wanted to also share with you, like I had shared earlier, that my daughter also, is a designer and she cracked NIFT Delhi. So if there is any guidance that you require, moving on to crack these exams, I'll be happy to connect you with her.
Thank you.
And I'd love to see some of your artwork as well. Is there something lying around, or you'll have to look for it?
There is.
Oh, there is. Can you please show it?
yeah,
Yeah.
Prakriti is a very good artist, as in sketches and everything. And she'll get
And
some of.
till the time Prakriti gets the artwork, can you tell us where can people buy Auspice? What are the platforms? Oh, okay. Let me just, if you can take it back a little bit because it's getting
Yeah,
yes. So what is that? Is that like a? Can you hold it in front of you, Paragji? In front of
yeah.
your face?
Any
Yes.
better?
No,
Uh,
it's again
yeah.
not better.
And now, yeah, now it's
Yeah.
good. Now it's fine. So what is this? Watercolor, is it?
You use acrylic paints as watercolors.
Acrylic paints as watercolors. Wow.
Yeah, what happens is you basically dilute the acrylic paint, and the more amount of water you put determines the shades and the tints, tones.
And I love the colors. They are so nationalistic. You know, the national flag, it's got the orange and the blue and the white and the green. Was that by design, or did you do it by purpose, or just it just happened to be?
It just happened to be. I wasn't thinking of the national flag.
But so we have it. It's so gorgeous and beautiful. I'm so glad that I could, connect with the both of you. I think this has been an enlightening session also for me personally, because a lot of times, and if I can speak to and on behalf of the larger group of people who are unaware of what autism really entails, I think that in itself requires a lot of awareness, and not look at just inclusion for the sake of inclusion, but to be able to be sensitive of individual needs. And I think this interaction itself is a big game changer as far as I am personally concerned, and I'm sure it would be for a lot of other people also out there. Thank you so much, Parag, and thank you so much, Prakriti, for taking the time for interacting with us, and keep doing good.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you something.
Please go ahead.
When Papa received the trophy for 2021,
Yes,
there was a very simple wooden trophy and it had an engraving
yes.
of a lady smiling. I'd like to know who designed that.
So interestingly, that image is designed by a NIFT graduate. It's a vector image, because when I gave her the brief, and people, expect you to carry visiting cards, etc. And for me, when I spoke to that NIFT, she was a professor that time in NIFT Delhi. And I told her, I said, you know what? I don't know how to put everything that I do in a visiting card. I've done radio jockeying, I do TV anchoring, I write, I anchor. So how is it that I can put all of that? I'm an author, all of that into one visiting card. So she said, okay, let me do a caricature for you. So this is one part of a caricature. If you see the whole caricature, it has books on one end, it's got a microphone on the other end, and it's got all those multiple things that convey all of what I do in just a simple caricature image. So I don't need to write, this, and then from there it's become a logo for me, Simply Suparna. And Simply Suparna also, I was telling your father, I used to host a show on radio wherein I used to always sign off saying Simply with Suparna. So Simply Suparna became an on-air moniker for me, and that's how I also started my company, Simply Suparna Media Network. So I'm glad that you asked me that question, because nobody has ever asked me that question, and I've got an opportunity now to also tell the backstory behind it.
This is actually one of the strengths of autistic people, attention to detail. I received the trophy. I didn't think about it. You created the trophy. I don't know how much you thought about it, but she noticed it. And this question must have been on her mind for last 3 years as to why this logo is like this and who drew it. So this attention to detail is their greatest asset. Many autistic people have that. And that is one reason they can succeed.
Thank you so much. I think you have wrapped up my entire show with that question. You've actually, that is the epitome of this entire interaction. Thank you, Prakriti.
You're welcome.
And thank you for having us here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're looking forward to the time when Auspice condiments, the turnover goes up to 800 crores. And then we are going to levy an entry fee to you, because it's going to cross the 5 CR top line mark, beyond which we levy entry
Yes,
fee,
when
under
we,
which
when we,
we.
when we make it to the point, we'll of course pay you based on our revenue and also on the number of employees we have. I hope
Absolutely.
every employee will be able to contribute 1 rupee or 2 rupee, and that will cover more than your entry fee at that time.
Yes, indeed. And these are some of the images of Auspice Social or Auspice Condiments as it is now being incorporated. And you were still to tell us, Paragji, where is it that people can go ahead and purchase
Well,
this?
at present, they can purchase on our website, auspice.org, and we are going to be listing on Amazon and Flipkart, and also on some of the offline shops. And if you are living outside India, we plan to start exporting by end of 2024. So those people who are living in far-flung areas, uh, they can also get some of our products.
Super. I'm sure I'm going to be also looking forward to using Auspice and getting converted into Auspice condiment user because of the quality of the product. And I'm looking forward to more of Auspice condiments work being acknowledged by Savera. And Prakriti, I'm looking forward to you being whatever you want to be in the near future. I'll be there in case you'd like any guidance as far as design is concerned if you do opt to go that route. Thank you so much and God bless.
Yeah. Thank you.